Hey, everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you try their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, of course, the king of all, those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I ever had, probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. All right, a big welcome in everybody listening in on our television and radio network affiliates, all of our independents from coast to coast, everybody in hotel television as well, over 600,000 rooms, as well as Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, and WOW Cable affiliates. We are here, of course, with our regular football insider. That would be Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker. Al, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Sal.
All right, and also, Al, you know what? We have a very special guest. You know what we should do? Let's let him introduce himself. What do you think?
I like that. I'd like to.
I think it's a great idea.
I think that's a great idea. Hey, somebody of his stature, he should be introducing himself.
Yes, sir.
Take the floor, sir.
I can't say I've ever done that before. Been asked this before. How you guys doing? This is Eric Dickerson, formerly of the SMU Mustangs, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams, Indianapolis Colts. So I'm happy to be here today, and that's it. So thank you for having me.
All right. Yeah, that's great stuff. I know. Well, look, we can't do the same thing everybody else does, because how many times, well, hey, here's this Hall of Fame player. Okay, great. Just tell everybody about yourself, 30 seconds kind of thing. All right, so Al, go ahead and take over. I'm going to give you the steering wheel. Yeah. You go ahead and drive for a moment.
All right. Hey, Dick, I want to get right to the unique family tree. Wait a minute. Let me get one thing out of the way, first of all. This guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's on the 100-year all-time team. His jersey's retired in the Rams, and he's recently been voted by about 5,000 people as one of the top. He's the GOAT of the Rams. Now, you consider Youngblood, Rosie Greer, Deacon Jones, names like that. So that's who we're talking to today. So Sal and I both were excited to have Eric Dickerson here. And most of us that ever tried to tackle him, I just referred to him as Dick by itself. Because that's what just figure out the rest of it. Hey, Dick, tell this part. Explain your unique family tree from Sealy, Texas, man.
Well, I was legally adopted. My mother had me when she was 17 years old. She got pregnant by her then boyfriend. I think he was 18. And I won't forget, when I was older, she was talking about it because I didn't know she was my mom. She says, it's the first time I had sex and I got pregnant. So that was the story. But my great aunt, Viola Dickerson, which was my mom's great aunt, had raised her also. And so when she got pregnant with me, my aunt was not happy about it. My great aunt Viola, her name is Viola Dickerson, was not happy about it. And actually made her go live with her real mom and her stepdad. She had three other brothers. And she told me that eventually my dad wanted her to come back and have me in Sealy. And make a long story short, they legally adopted me because my mother was very young. I think she was 17. I think even she had me. I think she got pregnant when she was like late 16 and got had me when she was when I was 7. When she was 17. So I didn't know my mother was my mother until a teacher told me I'm gonna fast forward. I was in the I think 6th grade, and a lady named Miss Bonnie Ruth Holliday asked me to stay after class and said, I said, stay after class and come to the desk. And she said, have you seen your dad? I said, my dad's at home. She said, no, boy, your real dad. I said, I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, go home and ask your mom. She said, first of all, they call my mother Miss Red. They call her Miss Red. Got some small time nicknames. My mother's real light. And she said, go ask Miss Red who Richard Seals is. She said, your mom was Helen, which I thought she told me was my sister. And she lived right next door with her husband, Robert, And so I'm like, okay, so I ride my bike home. I won't forget it. My mom was standing, my dad was sitting. And I asked her, I said, Mom, I said, who is Richard Seals? And man, what? Who told you that? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, Miss Holliday told me. And she said, what the hell did she tell you? My dad was so calm. He said, settle down, Red. He called Red, settle down, Red. And she said, what did she tell you? And I told her, she said that you're not my parents. She said, Helen, which I said was my sister, was my real mom. And some guy named Richard Seals is my dad. And his mom said, that's not true. And I won't get my dad's reply. I knew it was about time to be ready to tell him this. And so she called my mother next door, my real mom next door, and she come running over. Make a long story short, I mean, she threatened to kill her. She was going to kill that woman. She was going to kill Miss Holiday because she went to get the pistol. The pistol, my dad stopped her. And so the husband stopped her because she only lived about maybe 150 yards from me, right across the field. But she did go up to her house and she beat on the door and the windows and tell her, you bitch, you don't be telling nobody about my son. It was a bad deal, but I can say this much here, Bubba, man. It didn't change me. I mean, I knew, I kind of always wondered why my parents were a little bit older than everyone else. I really didn't want that. Mm-hmm. But it did, man. I love my mom and dad. I mean, I had the best parents. I was fortunate in a sense to almost have 3 mothers. I had my grandmother, which lived in Houston, which was my real mother's mom. I had my mom, which was Helen, my real mother. Then I had the lady who adopted me, which was Viola Dickerson, which is I called Mama. And even my mother, my real mom called her Mama too, because she raised her too. And my dad was the best man, seriously, I ever knew in my whole life. I mean, I just wish I could be half of the man he was. So, but my childhood was good. I mean, just like any other childhood, in them small towns, it's different, man. You don't ask no questions, So yeah, that's where kind of where I came from.
Reminds me of Ernestine. See, when I was drafted back in 1978, there was no metal detectors. And Ernestine traveled with 225s in her bosom. That's what they called it. And I mean, my mother sold numbers. We were born in Jacksonville, and so when you talk about Viola, we'll talk about the book a little bit later. But when you talk about Viola and the temperament and the relatives and the family and how things was dealt with, I immediately could relate to it. So give us a little quick snap of Viola.
Well, I'll say this. It's funny you say that. A lot of guys from the South can relate to our stories are almost pretty much simple.
Yeah.
My aunt raised you, a grandmother raised you, something like that. Sometimes your mom raised you and your dad. But Mama, she didn't mess around. I mean, she was like about 5'3", 5'4". She carried a pistol too sometimes. I mean, that's how she was. I mean, I won't forget. I was about 14, and she told me to do something. I rolled my eyes, and I was. She said, "You black bastard." She went behind the door. she got a shotgun. She said, "I'll kill your black ass." You understand? I said, "Mama, please don't shoot me." I'll never forget that, man. I thought she was serious.
Been there.
I didn't talk back and all that kind of stuff. My mother was really, really tough. I mean, she really was. And then years later, I think I was in the NFL, and I said, "Mama," every time you pull that gun up from the behind the door, she said, "Yeah, I remember." You rolled your eyes. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "It wasn't loaded, but you didn't know that. It wasn't loaded."
Yes. So yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to show you something real quick. I had one of those incidents at about the age of 12. I was getting bigger, and I rolled my eyes. My mother, punched me in the mouth, punched me. That was not, we got whippings. I got a whipping. I got whippings with iron cord. Like, I don't want to get my mother exhumed and put in jail out of her grave, but we got whippings. We didn't get spankings, and I got whipped. And so I kind of, did like this while she was talking. I kind of did my eyes like this, and she saw me. From that point on, and she said I sucked my tongue, like that. This is the South, right? And I said, and from that point on, I was talking to her like, and she said, "Boy, what the heck is wrong with you?" She didn't say heck because she had a mouth too. And Sal, this is how drastic it was. I said to her, I didn't want you to think that I was sucking my tongue. I was talking like this, dude. I was so scared of the woman. She's like, "What you just?" And my mother cursed a lot, and a lot of people won't understand that. But I was so scared of Ernestine that to that degree, I really caught her. And I know exactly when I heard that part. I was listening to the book and I thought, oh my God, that's Ernestine. Ernestine the Queen, by the way. So pretty soon we're gonna be taking a break. TV and radio, and we've got a couple of minutes here. But when we come back, after we come back, I want to talk about the role that Viola played in you deciding whether or not you were going to go to A&M. And then, we got to talk about a little bit about the trans A&M. Right? We're going to keep that short because everybody knows. But
we're going to be back here with Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker, and Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson in just a few moments. Folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a few. I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-296-1209. 800-296-1209. That's 800-296-1209.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-296-1209. 800-296-1209. That's 800-296-1209.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049 for the last time. That's 800-950-2049.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Folks, make sure you check out the sportscircus.com for our upcoming guest, our prior guest, our recorded shows, which are podcasts. Also, check out the partners page as well. Lots of great partners over there. One of those is the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. And I tell you what, folks, they put these great events on with the Jaws Youth Playbook, and that is the Ditka and Jaws Cigars with the Stars event every year to raise money for a lot of those players, for example, that really didn't have all those extra dollars. They didn't make the mad money that the current players make. So check them out. In fact, that event happens every year right before Super Bowl. Go to DitkaJawsCigars.com. DitkaJawsCigars.com. There you will find links for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, that's Mike Ditka's organization, and the Jaws Youth Playbook, which is Ron Jaworski's organization that helps out those at-risk youth across the country. Great organizations, great people, great causes. All right. Thanks for everybody joining us again on all of our network affiliates, television and radio, all of our independents. Everybody also on Facebook, thanks for joining us there as well. We're here with Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker. It's kind of fun to say that, of course. And, of course, the Hall of Famer from the Pro Football Hall of Fame and College Football Hall of Fame, and that'd be the great Eric Dickerson. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Sal.
Hey,
Thanks, Sal.
Eric, let me ask you a quick question. We were just talking about tough mothers in between segments. It seems like all three of us had the mother that would literally just punch someone in the mouth. It's the old shoot, then ask questions, right? So your mother had a shotgun. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, she kept a shotgun behind the door at all times, and she kept a pistol by the bed. My dad did also, because we used to hunt. He had matter of fact, two guns. He had a 22 and I think it's a 12-gauge shotgun behind the door. I mean, that's kind of in the South. You kept guns around. I mean, and you respected the gun. I mean, like it was my mother said, look, there's no do-over with a gun, son. You shot. So you had to be careful. But we did keep guns around, and I have guns here in my house. I keep guns. I keep my gun. I have a case. I keep my gun. I have a shotgun. I have a rifle. Because I used to deer hunt. I don't deer hunt anymore, but and I tell my kids don't mess with the guns. They're afraid of them. So, and I keep them locked.
Good gun safety. Hey, Dick, let's follow up where we were leaving off, because this woman, Viola Dickerson, there should be a movie done on her alone. I know she not only does she remind me of my mother, Ernestine, the Queen, but the part about her being involved in Ray Myers and making the decision, and of course we gotta just touch the Trans A&M. Not the Trans Am, but the Trans A&M. Tell us a little bit about how Viola played a part in the number one football player in the state of Texas. You ain't even got to go out the rest of the country. Being in Texas and being the number one high school football player, being recruited, and then give us a quick rundown of what kind of schools came to see Eric Dickerson.
Every school came to see me. I mean, my SC, Notre Dame, Michigan, Georgia, Texas, and I mean, I was the number one recruit in the nation. And my mother, one thing about her, she was born in 1904, so she had seen a lot of different things. And she would always say, "Look," she said, "these white men," she said, "they don't really care nothing about you. They just want you to, basically work for them. So, we're going to try to get the best deal we can for you, to get you in a good education." Because my mother, one thing about Viola, she was really smart, really book smart. Mathematics was her big thing. I mean, she was really smart. I mean, don't count on your fingers, count on your head. That was her thing. So, all the schools came to my house. I mean, I think that the best decision that she made for me, because I really wanted to go to Oklahoma. That's why I wanted to go to college. The OU came to my house with Barry Switzer, and they showed me this, the video. I think they won a national championship the year before, Billy Sims. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I love that. But boom, soon, I couldn't wait to put that crimson on, with the white, with the OU on the helmet. And they brought me had a jersey they showed me. They didn't give it to me. They showed me a jersey with my number 19 on it. And when they left, I won't forget. Because I said, I want to come there. And she said, you ain't going to school there? I'm like, Mama, nope. Eric, you ain't going to school there. She said, that white man's a liar. I don't trust him. She said, I don't trust that white man. I said, Mama, no. She said, what if it is? I said, what's it about? She said, why in the hell you want to go? You ain't going to live in no damn Oklahoma. She said, think of you're a Texas boy. So you stay in the state of Texas. I mean, why you want to go outside the state? All these schools in the state of Texas. So, make a long story short, I had to kind of decommit from OU. Boy, I wanted to go that bad. And she really liked Coach Meyer. Coach Meyer came to my house. She really liked him. I didn't like University of Texas because they were so arrogant. And the coach told me that if I went to SMU, we would never beat Texas. And they'd make sure I could get a job in the state of Texas. And when I told my mother, they said that, she said, oh, hell no, you'd never go there. So I wasn't going there. But she liked Coach Meyer. She just liked Ron a lot because Ron talked about education and, Miss Dickerson, if I have a problem, I'll call you, you can come and take care of it yourself. And you ever need something, we'll help you along. And sure enough, they kind of sold her. I mean, I think what sold her was when he came to see me and we were sitting there talking and he says, oh, you got something? I'm hungry. You got anything to eat here? So we go in the kitchen and he was helping her cook some, I forgot what, like some chicken. And she was helping her cook some chicken. And man, and at that point, it was on. And that's why that's how I ended up at SMU. Hey, hush. Hold on a second. This dog. Hey, stop.
Well, think about the idea, Eric, of today's name, image, and likeness, right? Which is we'll just call it a dumpster fire today, right? The way things are handled. I mean, look, I'm all for people are able to use their name, image, and likeness for whatnot. And we think of the way money has flowed in the past to how it flows today. I mean, imagine a name, image, and likeness deal today. You're coming out of high school today. The numbers would be astronomical. But what do you think of the process itself of this whole NIL thing?
Well, I do like the kids getting paid. I'm sorry, I do. I think it's fair. I mean, because why is it fair for, and I got to say it like this, a white institution of the NCAA, they making all the money. Most of these kids are African-American, playing football. They're white. I mean, all these kids aren't rich. White kids, too, making all the money, and they get nothing. Well, you get an education. Well, a lot of times, these kids don't go to school to get an education. They go to school to play football, baseball, basketball, whatever they do. And the coach is getting paid. Everybody else is getting paid, but they're not getting paid. But they're doing the work, So I'm for it. I think that if you want to take, let's just say you take $500,000 from SMU. I'm gonna use that number, and all of a sudden you're not happy, and now I want to go to Texas. I feel like if you want to leave, no problem. Just hand that money back over, and it's a good split. That's my only issue. Other than that, you could change schools. I think you should be able to change schools maybe twice. But that's about it. But going school to school, and all these guys coming out in the league, they're 25 and 26 years old. I mean, they're playing against kids. They're grown men playing against kids in college. That's one thing I don't like, but I think it's a good idea. I like the process because the NCAA has gotten away with it for years. We don't even need an NCAA. I mean, I just don't like the NCAA.
Right. Well, the idea that there's money flowing is one thing. I get it. The universities make a bunch of money. I get all that. But I think also if you're going to take a scholarship, stay at the school that you took the scholarship. But like you said, if you take the money, give the money back. And that's probably the hardest part. Al, what do you think about that in our last couple minutes of the segment?
Well, I think what's most important is that what Dick talked about in his book. And by the way, I just want to mention the book, Watch My Smoke. The thing is the schools have made so much money off of the players. It's unfair, and I'm all for NIL. That's it. I'm all for it. Yeah. It's free agency in college, in my opinion.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, it's time. It's just time. I mean, and like I said, I just feel like that. it's hard for a kid to make a decision. Think about this. You're 17 or 18 years old. You got to get that decision right the first time to go to school you're going to go to and live with it. That's like the first girl I dated, and you got to stay with her for the next 4 years. I don't want to stay with her 4 years. I mean, I don't like her.
Well, all right, yeah. I mean, look, it is what it is. But, think about the idea that, look, you make your decision. But I do like the fact that, look, the kids they're 18 years of age, right? You're old enough to fight for your country. You're old enough to vote. You should be old enough to do what you do in your adult life. And I mean, I think that's really where you sort of draw the line. It's like, look, if these kids were 15, 16, obviously mom and dad are going to have to be involved in a decision-making process. But at the end of the day, if they're old enough to vote, enter into a contract and all that other fun stuff, they should be able to do what? Even basketball players, they should be able to go right from high school right to the NBA if they have the skills and the strength, etc., instead of having the stupid one-and-done rule. And I know that's basketball, but at the end of the day, we think about what is fair for an 18-year-old kid. All right, Bubba, go ahead and give us 10 seconds and then take us out to break real quick.
All right. Well, we're going to be doing, we're going to take a little break from the Sports Circus, and we're going to be right back.
Well, hell, that was quick. Tell everybody a little bit more. Come on, man. You got another 30 seconds. Let's go.
10 seconds. You said 10 seconds. I want to make sure I don't go over those.
That's all right, man.
I do want to give a big thanks to everyone that's been tuning in on television, radio, and social media. So we're going to be right back with my man, Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame person in my book. And we're going to talk about that trans A&M.
All right, folks. Lots more to come here on the circus. Don't go anywhere.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-476-6087. 800-476-6087. 800-476-6087.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
If you're tired of the fake news and tired of all the left-wing BS and agendas out there, if you want to do your right part to clean out the swamps and hit the lefties where it hurts, their pocketbook, we all know the president and his cronies hired thousands more IRS employees and agents. Now that's not very American. There's a way to fight back. Fellow conservatives out there, call American Tax Relief. They can help you pay less to the IRS. Don't you give a penny more to spend to the left-wing agendas. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes or haven't filed your taxes in years, call my friends at American Tax Relief. They'll give you a 100% free introduction to their program, and trust me, they're on the right side of your freedom. Pay the IRS less. Call now.
800-958-2157. 800-958-2157. That's 800-958-2157. Paid for by the Tax Doctor.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV, and here to talk about everything else, bringing us back from break, because, of course, I stepped on his toes on this, would be Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker. Al, go ahead.
Yeah, and I want to give a big thanks to everyone tuning in on television, radio, and social media. And, guys, we're chopping it up with Hall of Fame human being Eric Dickerson, retired jersey, everything. We don't want to get into stats because we'd need 2 hours to just name some of the things. I do want to make note of this, though. The 1,808 yards will never be broken by any other rookie. They just ain't going to hand the ball off to him in this past happy off. Eric, you ain't never got to worry about that. Neither will the 21. The 1808 will not be touched in this past happy league. So let's get to the trans A and M, not Trans Am. Trans A and M, and how that was handled. Quickly, please, Eric, because I don't know.
Well, it was I like the Trans Am, and it was a place called Leo Johnny that I-10 in Houston, and Houston's like 40 miles from Sealy, and sometimes we go to Houston, I look over there to see the car, and sometimes I get my mom to stop and just take me to look at it. And fast forward, they knew I liked the car. Some of the schools had heard I liked the car, I guess. So it was a Friday, and my mom said, well, we're gonna go down like the Trans Am. Oh, you got a school? I'm like, really? She said, yeah. She said, we're gonna meet us over there. So sure enough, we drive down. It was my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, my real mom, my stepdad, and like 3 white men. I met there, and they told me to go out and take the test drive the car. It was gold Trans Am with a gold eagle on top, gold and black eagle. T-tops, and sure enough, I took it out and drove it. And I was outside talking to, I think my grandfather. I talked to my grandfather, and they came back and they, told me, gave me another set of keys. Say it's yours. I'm like, what? It's mine. That's how I came. That's how I got it. But, now I'm gonna say this here. I never asked nothing else about that car. How I got it. Make a long story short, the next day, the NCAA, that money went NCAA at Sealy High School, investigating about this car. Came in, I was in lab class, I won't forget the guy came, teacher, Mr. Boyle, said, hey, somebody's at the door, knocked, opened the door. And the guy said, can I speak to Eric Dickerson? So I walked out and he said, yes. I said, we talked about the Trans Am. I said, okay. I said, call my mom. And my mom called my mother and told me this guy was going to come by the house. Went by the house, and the story's long, but I'll make it short. He came by, and he came to our house every day for I'm serious, about 3 months. And eventually, he came so much he would have dinner with us. He was a brother, black guy. And one day I didn't see him anymore. And I said, Mom, what happened to that man? She said, your grandmother. My grandmother's in Houston. She said, she told him, because they came to see her, said, if I see you or anybody from the NCAA one more time, I'm going to sue you personally and the NCAA. He said, we're answering all these questions about this car. There's nothing illegal about the car. So, boom. Sure wasn't, I didn't know anything about it. So now I'm in the NFL. And I asked my mom, I said, Mama, let me ask you, how did that car come about? So you don't believe that story. She said, my grandfather and my grandmother could afford the car. They got a new car every couple of years because he was a crane operator. So he had a really good job. And she said that they paid for the car with a check. They had the money, they paid for the car with a check. And A&M gave them the money back in cash. And That's how the car we call it.
right here on the Sports Circus. Okay, so now we're at SMU, and you talked about in the Watch My Smoke book, which we're going to get to pretty quickly here. You talked about you were already fast, but now you're at SMU. Craig James is there, and there's some question about how you run, the style, that DNA, that up straight. Because I got to be honest with you, when you got to the NFL, that running style, when I saw you on film, I was like, oh, we're going to kill him. We're going to tear him up. Yeah. I said it. I ain't going to lie. So I'm telling the truth here. I never did touch you by the play in that game that we played. But anyway, now you're at SMU, and you're splitting playing in the backfield. I can't. I've heard that story the last week over and over and over, and it still doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. Help me understand that story.
Well, it was three guys. There was myself, it was Craig, and a guy named Charles Wagner. And Charles was really good. He was from Oak Cliff High School, I think. And Charles got hurt our freshman year because I'm telling you, it was a crowded backfield. We had a bunch of guys, and Charles was good. And we played the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and I was the deep guy. We were both deep guys. And they kicked off, and I told them, you take it. So I stepped up. That's when they could cut you down low. Guy cut me, cut him at the same time. He came and broke a bone in his neck. Never played again. So he could walk, but never played football again. Graduated from SMU. So now it's between me and Craig. And look, my freshman year, I struggled. I cannot lie. I don't think I was ready for college football because I wasn't really physically strong enough. I had, and sometimes mentally because I was young. And I had the big legs, but no upper body strength. And I, learned how to get that. So my freshman year, I think I had 470 yards and like 6 touchdowns. And, they said I was a bust. And I was getting Dallas Morning News. They said I was a bust and they should take my scholarship. All the hype and I'm not living up to it, blah, blah, blah. And the thing, I'm an 18-year-old kid. So that was a disappointing year. So my next year, I think me and Craig was splitting time. But Craig was playing more because he was more healthy. And we only went 5 and 6 that year. But we were a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. So my next year, I think I had 924 yards, something like that, which was better for a sophomore. I think me and Craig still split. I didn't like it at first. I just did not like it. I'm like, man, this ain't working for me. I want to be the guy. And, Ron Meyer kind of sit me down and talk to him. I think me and Craig separately about it. It's going to save our body, blah, blah, blah. The next year, I had 1,400 yards my junior year. And I was kind of getting used to doing the rotate thing. Even though, now most of the time I didn't start. I came off the bench. I think that's what killed people. Craig would start, I would come off the bench, but we split time. And so my senior year, same thing. But let me tell you something. My senior year, I felt like a man playing with boys. I was bigger. I was stronger. I was faster. I look at some of the film, I'm like, man, guys can't run with me. But it worked out, and I got to say, it was the best thing for me and him because it saved my body going to the National Football League. I would have no surgery, not beat up at all. And Craig and I, we're still best of friends. I mean, I think that's the best thing about this story. And what's synonymous, I think, is being probably the most well-known backfield in college history, the Pony Express, because of the name, the Pony Express. And I didn't even know until, I counted a couple years in LA. I didn't think we know who we were.
Wow. Okay, so we got the Trans Am. We're splitting the time, and the media. You're still being attacked by the media, even though you're this guy that's carrying this team. And I think you guys were 10 and 0 and 1 tie.
Yeah, we were 11-1 our senior year. We should have won a national championship. It was such.
What happened with that one? What happened with that one?
We tied Arkansas the last game of the season, and we should have been there. Arkansas had a great team. Lou Holtz was the head coach. They had Billy Ray Smith. They had Bobby Duckworth. They had like 3 guys in the first round on that team too. They had a really good team. We played them at home. We tied them 17-17, and I think we were 2. They were like 5 or 6 in the polls, and they dropped us from 2 to like 5 to keep us out of that national championship game. It screwed us. And we were the only undefeated team that year. And then all year they kept saying, Joe Paterno has not won a national championship. it's unfair to college football. Well, hey, Joe Paterno, you got to earn a national championship. So they gave those both Georgia and Penn State played the national championship game. We played Pittsburgh with Dan Marino. We beat them in the Cotton Bowl, and I think Penn State won that game. But boy, we wanted them. We wanted either one of them. We didn't care because we had a great football team. I mean, then it wasn't about people thought it was about me and Craig. That defense we had was hellacious. I mean, like I said, think about it. We played Dan Marino. I think, to me, probably one of the most prolific passers in the National Football League, and we held him to 3 yards. Our defense did. Three points. That's saying a lot.
Very impressive.
Wow. So we're going to get ready to take a break. We're going to get ready to take a break here soon. But I just want to say this: when we come back, we're going to go from Sealy to outside of Dallas to Hollywood. We're going to Hollywood, man. Take us out, Sal.
Listen, Hollywood, folks, in case you're keeping score, it's not everything that the entire viewing audience may think it is. I mean, I got to tell you, look, I'm a former baseball player. I'm here with two former great football players, Hall of Famer, etc. The reality is, we hear that Hollywood thing. Listen, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors there, folks. In case you're keeping score, just a little bit of that, and I think every one of us would probably have some kind of opinion on that. In fact, maybe when we come back, we'll get one from the Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson, as well as Al Bubba Baker. And Al, say the rest, because you are what? Come on.
Quarterback. I'm Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker, and the rib maker.
I love that. All right, folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with these two guys. In just a few. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-320-2751. 800-320-2751. 800-320-2751. That's 800-320-2751. Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker. A big thanks to everyone tuning back in on television, radio, and social media. And we're chopping it up with a Hall of Famer, world famous Eric Dickerson. Dick, we're going to talk about your trip to Hollywood from Sealy, Texas. Take it, brother. Tell me what it was like. And I'm sure there was no women. There were no women out there, I'm sure.
Well, I say coming from Sealy, and playing at SMU in Dallas, Texas, and coming to LA was a big difference. I came to LA on my recruiting trip to USC, but that was different. I was most on the USC campus and went to a few spots, but coming to play in LA was way different. I won't forget one of the first things that happened was that we went to the beach. Some of the rookies to Venice Beach, and the guy had a Dodge Datsun with a ship on the collar. And we drove up to Venice Beach. I think it was 4 of us. And I saw a Rolls Royce and it had Magic on it. Is that Magic Johnson's car? Oh, I swear. I was like, dang. But sure enough, we walk on the beach and we run into Magic. We walked over and introduced ourselves to him. And I said, how you doing, Mr. Johnson? Blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm Eric Dixon. He said, I know who you are. You're from one pig. I said, yes, sir. And I told him I'd like to be like you one day, I made myself famous in LA. He said, well, hey, you can do it. And man, it was great. I mean, playing in LA. The first time I went to a Laker game with the team doctor, Dr. Curlin, and sit on the floor. And I didn't know what floor seats were because the guy said, "You want to game with Dr. Curlin?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "He sits on the floor." I'm like, "What's the floor?" He said, "Right there where the team is." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I was on the floor and right before the game, man, the announcement. I don't like that kind of stuff. The announcement, the standing ovation and all that. I'm like, oh, I was so embarrassed, man. And all the guys came over, Coop, Magic, Kareem, all of Byron Scott. I mean, I met all the guys. James Worthy. That was a treat in itself. And then I would get one of my really highlights was it was a place called Nicky Blair's. I used to go to on Friday nights, and I was there, and the guy knew the guy only named Nicky. And I said, Nicky, that Clint Eastwood over there. He said, yeah. He said, come on. I said, no, man. I was out. He said, no, come on, Eric, come on. I drove with Nicky. And he says, hey, Nicky, what's going on? He said, oh, Nick, good. Clint said, oh, somebody wants to be saying. I will never forget. He said, hey, Eric, how's it going? Man, I was like, wow, he knows who I am. I said, Mr. Eastwood, I'm a big fan. He said, I'm a fan too. I said, well, thank you. But man, Hollywood, I mean, when I came in the 80s, I mean, the girls, the clubs, it was just different. I mean, I can't lie. The weather, I can remember being out here in October, and it's like 70 degrees, and you look on the weather, and it's like, other places like St. Louis and Chicago, it's in the 30s. That was great. I mean, I can't lie. The weather was fantastic out here. So, and just so much to do. I still live in LA. I still live in my house I bought here in 1986 in Calabasas. I mean, I love it, I got to say, but I am a Texan. So I'm still a true Texan. I love my home state of Texas, too. I have a house there also.
So fast forward, you not only did you write how you guys wrote a book about Watch My Smoke, but you narrated. I enjoyed that. I think more athletes should do that. And I want to thank you for telling the story that I was too afraid to tell about my own family. I was afraid to tell it like it was. I've had lots of people come to me and say, hey, look, we'd like to tell your story. and you told your story, and I want to applaud you for that, man. I'm going to give you a personal applause. Please give it a plug, and then before you go, I want you to plug your daughter, your entrepreneur, 18-year-old daughter who you guided, and that's your legacy. Because of you, your daughter's in business. So tell us about that book, and then we want to hear about your daughter's business.
Well, the book is called Watch My Smoke. It was a book that I wanted to do for many years, and I just never got the right guy, the right writer. And lo and behold, a good friend of mine named Gustavo Miguel ran across his writer, Greg Hannon, and I, talked to other writers and they wrote stuff down, but it never was sounded like me. And then when I got with Greg, man, it sounded just like me, and it was great. And we talked. Sometimes we talked 3 hours on the phone. I never met him till like last year. Never met him, and we just talk on the phone. I send him stuff, dictate stuff, and send it to him. That's how he did it. And I thought the book came out fantastic. And narrating the book, it was tough. I mean, it really was. Because me being dyslexic, and trying to read, I read it, and it was a tough deal, but I did it, and I loved it. And you're right, Bubba. Guys should do their own, because you know what? You know your story better than anyone. Because
absolutely,
you know when to put in inflection. You talk about your mom, your dad. I mean, during the book, and I talk about my mom, my dad, especially my dad. I broke down and started crying. I said, I got in a minute, because I love my dad. I love my mom too, but my dad and I were close, and it was just devastating when he died. But man, like I said, I'm glad I got a chance to do it. And for me, people know this about me. If you don't want the truth, don't ask me, because I'm not gonna lie to you, even by myself. I mean, I just felt like I told everything, and everything in that book was true. It's not made up. It's not fictional. It is the truth. Everything that happened. So, but I'm very proud of it.
I'm proud of you for writing it. How much of that book is Viola Dickerson?
Oh, a lot.
How much of it is her?
A lot of it is Viola, because she guided me in a lot of different ways. I mean, even going to the National Football League over the USFL, I went to her and I said, Mom, because she hated football. She hated that sport. So I hate that sport, Eric. I don't like it. It's too rough. It's violent. It's going to cause you problems later, son. I'm telling you. But, she said, I know you love it, but just remember I told you that. And she was right. But she was the one who told me to go to I said, Mom, what is, because I was in NFL and the USFL. And so I won't forget. She said, what's the USFL? I said, it's another football league. And she said, let me pray about it. And I won't forget, the next day she came to me, she said, which one's been around longer? I said, NFL. She said, go to the NFL. It's going to be there. So that's why I took the NFL route, and it really paid off, I got to say. I mean, she made so many decisions for me in my life that were, I got to say, but really life-changing, man, really life-changing. Like I said, get the book, Watch My Smoke. And it's a true memoir of my life.
Oh, I'm listening to it a second time while I walk. I'm 2/3 into it the second time, and the book has got me asking you this one question. Here's my takeaway. A lot in the book, you say "F that." Okay, I mean like the Bob Ezra N-word joke. You said "F that." Did that come from the way that Viola raised you, or was that just like a knee-jerk reaction? Because he was your owner.
Well,
and you said that, hey, look, I'm not going to ignore his ignorance. And you,
man, well, I'll tell you the story. Old man Robert Ursay came and tell us a racial joke, and he started off with, and he had always tell two guys with him because he was a drinker, and he said, you got the N-word, you got for Jewish the K word. And you got a W for the Hispanic people, the wetback. And I mean, it was just so wrong. I said, man. And I walked out and then, oh, sorry. Man, when they came brought me the next day, Eric, we talked, apologize. I said, man, he made us go to his party in his barn. And I mean, it was just that place. Look, I'll say this much here about Indianapolis. There's a lot of good fans there. I mean, and I'll say that, but it's a lot of rednecks out there, man. I mean, I'd never seen a Klan rally till I was in Indianapolis. In my life, that was a trip to me, and I'm from Texas, so it was just some stuff out there. It was some stuff out there, man, that just really turned me. But like I said, some great Indianapolis Colts fan, a true fan. If you got those I call them those ignorance people, and that's what they are. But I was glad to get out of it. My wife's folks in there. We got two great kids. I go back there just to see them. You know, my wife's folks, her parents are the best, man. They're really good people.
Any regrets leaving the Rams to go play for Indianapolis for a little bit more money?
Of course. I mean, a little bit was a whole lot more money. You know, I was making $150,000. I went to making $1.5 million. It's a lot more money. But I wanted to stay in LA. I just wanted to be paid right. That was it. I wasn't trying to break the bank. I mean, well, I was like the 30th highest paid player in the league, and I was on the top. I was Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, but couldn't get paid by my football team. So I mean, it was times were different back then. I mean, I wanted to stay here, but what I really wanted to go was the Redskins because they wanted me. My cousin Dexter Manley was there, and they said, Eric, man, he called me and said, man, I heard we're trying to get you. I said, man, I know. He said, man, they ain't gonna let that happen. That's too much like right. Because I don't want a Super Bowl that for sure and more rushing titles. But, you know, I would say God put me in the place I was supposed to be. I was supposed to go to Indianapolis. And, you know, that's where I wound up. And, you know, my career is what it is. I mean, I'm proud of what I did in the National Football League, and that's it.
So, Eric, I know we're running on time right now. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find your book, also how to follow you and everything else. Eric Dickerson, go ahead and take a minute and talk about that real quick.
You can order the book on Amazon. It's called Watch My Smoke. My IG handle is at Eric Dickerson. And, you know, like I said, I'm a low-key guy. I mean, I really am. But the main thing is that my daughter started a business. It's called Star Set. She makes these little plushes. She's very smart. I mean, really smart. Like I said, my daughter's dyslexic, but she makes all A's, thank God. Believe it or not, she's going to go to my alma mater. She's going to SMU. She just told me that last week, so I'm very happy about that. But it's called Star Set, and her website is kezart.net. So it's kezart.net. It's called Star Set. Check it out. And she's doing very well, very smart, and, you know, selling. She's got a manufacturing company. She's talking to them. So I'm very proud of her. She's 18 years old, and she goes to Oaks Christian High School here in California, and I'm very proud of her.
That's great stuff.
Thank you, man.
That's great stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on, bro. I really appreciate you, Dick. You doing me a favor, man. Hey, I'm a rookie now in the radio business, so thank you.
Hey, I got to tell you this story. I got to tell you, man. You know, I played against the Lions. You know, I had my first big game against you guys. I had 199 yards and 2 touchdowns, and in that rookie season, man. And I'm gonna say this: it was a guy chasing me. I won't forget it. I cut back, go across field, and I ran on y'all side and jumped over the bench. A guy, I come back and there's an older guy, had a gray beard. I said, "You can't catch me, old man." He said, "Oh, son, somebody catch me one day." I never forgot that. I think I put that in my book, too. I never forgot that.
Oh, that's great stuff. Hey, listen, guys, we're out of time here on the Sports Circus. Thanks for the great Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Famer, for joining us today, of course, and Al Bubba Baker, the quarterback breaker and the rib maker. I got to tell you, that's the best damn tagline I think I've ever heard. And that's why we play it at the beginning of the last segment. It's just great stuff. All right, I'm your Ringmaster Sal, and we'll see you next time right here on your favorite station, I don't know, in about 23 hours. Again, thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next time, everybody. So long.
Hello, Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.